This weekend, Shabbos goes straight into Shavuot, the holiday in which the Jewish people receive the Torah. It's extremely important for men, women, and children to come to shul. We are told that the Ten Commandments are given to the Jewish people every single year, just as it was given the very first time. So when Jewish people stand in shul on Yontif this week, on Sunday, and they hear the Torah being read, and they hear the Ten Commandments, it's as if they're actually standing at the foot of Mount Sinai and experiencing the giving of the Torah like the very first time it happened. The very first commandment, Anochi Adonai Elohecha asher hotzeticha me'eretz Mitzrayim. I am God, your God.
There's only one God.
There is only one God that took you out of Egypt. And the commentaries right away jump on this and they say, all is fine and good. I am God, your God, and that we have to believe in God. But what we don't understand is, surely Hashem could have found a bigger episode, a bigger proof, a bigger reason for us to believe in God. And what is that? I am God, your God, that created heaven and earth. I am God, your God, that took you out of Egypt. That's nice, that's good, but that's just a small episode in all the miracles that occurred to the Jews and to humanity. Why is it the chosen reason to believe in the one God? And the Lubavitch Rebbe explains, and he goes deeper into the difference between the big episode, or the greatest episode of all time, which is the creation of heaven and earth, and the episode of the Exodus from Egypt. The Rebbe says as follows. If you look at the creation of the world, the creation of heaven and earth, you'd find that, yes, it's huge. Before the world was created, there was just God. For God to create a physical world, if you look at how the world was created, we say every morning, Baruch Sha'amar v'haya olam. Blessed is God that uttered, He spoke, and the world was created. God said there shall be day, there was day. God said there should be light, there was light. So, how did God create the world? It's called the 10 utterances. 10 sayings. And the world just appeared. That is something that you and I, we can learn about. We can believe in it. We do believe in it. However, it's not necessarily something we can properly comprehend. How God created this universe from absolute nothing is something that takes a lot of study to be able to really not just understand it, but feel it. On the other hand, you've got the story, the episode of the Exodus from Egypt. The world was already created. Everything was already set in motion. Nature was nature. The sun came out, there was sunset. The ocean was always to be stormy, was always to flow. What did God do? God Himself came down into Egypt. The Jewish people were physical slaves. And not just that, they were spiritual slaves as well. They were on the lowest level of impurity. And in just 7 weeks, God lifted them out of their misery and brought them to the highest state of purity, the giving of the Torah on Mount Sinai. That was done through many different miracles, the 10 plagues, etc. But the most known of all the miracles is the splitting of the sea, where God took an ocean naturally moves. God transformed the ocean into dry land with 2 walls of water so that the Jewish people can leave. If you take the concept of the creation and you take the concept of the splitting of the sea, the exodus from Egypt, yes, the creation is much bigger and much more awesome. However, the exodus from Egypt is something much more relatable. The Jewish people were accustomed to a certain way of life, but they called out to Hashem, and Hashem took them out of their Egypt, their confinement, and brought them into freedom, and ultimately gave them the Torah. The reason why the opening statement of the 10 Commandments is, I am God your God, who took you out of Egypt, is because every single Jew in all times and in every place may find himself in exile, whether it's a spiritual exile or a physical exile. He feels entrapped by self-imposed entrapments or socially imposed entrapments. There's hope. There's hope. Why? Because it's happened once before, where the Jewish people were slaves, both physical and spiritual. All they had to do was to call out to God, and God didn't send an angel, didn't send any emissary. God himself came down into this world, lifted the Jewish people out, and showed them incredible miracles. We have to remember, we're chosen not just to be on a pedestal. The chosen nation means that we are here to fulfill a mission, to lead by example, to take the morals and the ethics of Torah, the values of Torah, and to teach them by being first and foremost a living example. We have to be those people. We have to be those role models onto our families, onto our friends, onto our colleagues, and eventually make this world into a place where God can feel comfortable to walk in. That's why we have mezuzahs on our doors. That's why we make Kiddush on Friday night. And that's why we eat kosher food. We do all this so God can have a free pass into our home and feel comfortable. And therefore we'll be blessed with all the blessings that Hashem has in store for us. So just a reminder that this week is Shavuot, this weekend, Sunday and Monday, and it is so important that men, women and children come to shul, hear the 10 Commandments, and close your eyes and envision that you are there at that moment. You're standing on the foot of Mount Sinai, and you're accepting upon yourself the yoke of heaven, Hashem himself, to come down into your lives, take you out of both your physical misery and your spiritual misery, because we can't do it alone. Only God can help us. But we have to take action. We need to be more proactive and bring Yiddishkeit more and more into our lives.